Tonight's big story, and mystery is unfolding across Mid-South farms. Something is killing crops, trees, even weeds, and nobody seems to be able to explain why. Thank you for joining us. I'm Richard Ransom.
I'm Claudia Barr. The farmers are scratching their heads, and some are worried their crops may be lost to the mysterious plague. It's happening along a large swath of land near the Shelby and Tipton County border, along Herring Hill Road and elsewhere near the Mississippi River bottoms. Sean Shivard is just back with more.
Richard, Claudia, take a close look. This is what has farmers worried. These tiny dots look as though something burned straight through the leaf, and they're finding this everywhere. The tiny dots appear different depending on the plant. On corn stalks, the dots seem to turn white in the center. On other plants, a white dust speckles the leaves, then destroys the green life underneath. The farmers that we spoke with are convinced that something in the air caused this damage. They're asking the USDA as well as other experts to look into this problem, and we are too. Reporting live downtown, Sean Shivard, WRAG News Channel 3.
It was a secret government program known as Project Destiny.
We're building a weapon that could generate targeted seismic events.
Designed to use earthquakes to attack our enemies.
I'm getting a seismic reading.
It was a perfect, untraceable weapon.
Destiny is a go.
Until something went wrong.
That's an electrical superstorm. Popping up all over.
Blueprint for HAARP, High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program.
What does HAARP do? HAARP is a large antenna where we beam radio frequency energy up into the upper atmosphere, and we create on a small scale what the sun normally does.
The assignment came that the Navy and the Air Force were to manage the program.
There were some other ideas, both to possibly modify weather.
In 1983, I did radio tomography with 30 watts, looking for oil in the ground. I found 26 oil wells over a 9-state area, and 100% of the time was accurate with just 30 watts of power beaming straight into solid rock. HAARP uses 1 billion watts beamed straight into the ionosphere for experiments. Picture these strings on the piano as layers of the earth. Each one has its own frequency. What we used to do is beam radio waves into the ground, and it would vibrate any strings that were present in the ground. We might get a sound back like, and we'd say, that's natural gas. We might get a sound back like, and we'd say, that's crude oil. We were able to identify each frequency. We accomplished this with just 30 watts of radio power. If you do this with 1 billion watts, the vibrations are so violent the entire piano would shake. In fact, the whole house would shake. In fact, the vibrations could be so severe underground, it could even cause an earthquake.
Being used to describe the earthquake's impact, unimaginable. Mr. President, I know you've been to Haiti a couple of times already as the UN Special Envoy. Will you be going back?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'd be back there tonight if I think I'm doing more good here staying on the phone trying to help solve problems. We basically need now food, water, shelter, and medical supplies. We identified some places for large numbers of people to seek shelter today. But if anyone wants to help now, not 2 weeks from now, a month from now, we'll need lots of rebuilding help, lots of volunteer help. But now, unless you're in a search and rescue team or a medical team, the best thing you can do is give money for food, water, shelter, and first aid supplies. Those are the things we need. And we set up a website for the UN at clintonfoundation.org/Haiti earthquake. You can text Haiti at 2022. Send a text message. $10 will be forwarded to it. We'll move that money in a hurry. But everybody, this is one of the...
I know a lot of people want to send blankets or water. Just send your cash.
Longer-term effort will not be measured in days and weeks. It'll be measured in months and even years.
One of the things that President and I will do is to make sure your money is spent wisely.
And Venezuelan leader Hugo Chavez has once again accused the United States of playing God. but this time it's Haiti's disastrous earthquake that he thinks the U.S. was behind. Spanish newspaper ABC quotes Chavez as saying that the U.S. Navy launched a weapon capable of inducing a powerful earthquake off the shore of Haiti. He adds that this time it was only a drill, and the final target is destroying and taking over Iran. The existence of a tectonic weapon has never been proved, but its use is often suspected by conspiracy theorists. For example, the leader of Georgia's Green Party accused Russia of being behind an earthquake on Georgian territory in 2002.
Hard time staying alive in the southeastern U.S. Just a few days after as many as 5,000 fell from the sky in Arkansas, some 500 birds dropped to their death in Louisiana. It's unclear if the cases are related. Wildlife officials in both states are sending carcasses to a federal lab and the University of Georgia for testing.
Showed no signs of disease, although I can't rule disease out. They did have multiple hemorrhages on the inside of them, especially around the liver, which would mean that trauma, that the birds had went through some type of trauma. This is not something that we've seen, but we don't see that much wildlife.
More than 200 birds have been found dead around the Henderson landfill site.
Is mass bird and fish die-off connected to government testing?
In the small town of Beebe, Arkansas, everyone seems to have a theory about what sent so many birds crashing down on New Year's Eve.
Some of them were a little panicked, thinking it was the end of the world.
Authorities in northern Italy say more than 1,000 turtle doves have dropped dead over the past 5 days.
It's taken effect very quickly, and the birds haven't travelled more than a few hundred metres, so it's a fast-acting poison or toxin of some nature.
Birds fall from the sky, single birds on multiple occasions. I mean, it's not that unusual, but that many makes you think that it's not a disease, it's something cataclysmic happened all at one time. I mean, or they would have fallen in a wider area, maybe across the state instead of just right in one. I heard that it was 1 square mile where almost 2,000 of them fell.
Investigators are working to determine what caused the death of 200 cows in Portage County. The cattle were discovered on a farm field on 4th Street in Amherst. Today, the bodies were taken out in semi-loads to be disposed of. The Portage County Sheriff's Department says the animals died of a virus that causes respiratory and reproductive problems. Samples from the dead animals have been sent to Madison for testing. Investigators say there is no threat to people or other animals in the area. The Portage County Humane Society is investigating. The owner has been working with a veterinarian who couldn't be reached for comment today.